I could do this all night. To quote a key part from tonight, what we're doing on this brand new special episode of Who This Been Watching, which is me, of course. Brought to you by Who This. I'm the host of this fucking thing we do right here. I'm just trying to paste the fucking thing as we go. And hold the fuck on. Alright, there we go. Yes. Who This Been Watching? Tuned in. Thank you for doing so. Friday night as we're doing it. 10 o'clock live Eastern Standard Time according to the East Coast. This is where I occupy currently and probably forever until the day I drop dead. Proud of it. To be more specific, if we must, Queens, New York. Proud to represent. New York boy, born and raised practically. And we will touch upon that later on in much more finer detail with a fine-tooth comb per se. Later on this episode, considering what we're going to be talking about tonight and which movie, better yet said, we're going to be honoring, we're going to be reviewing, we're going to be recapping tonight, which is none other than 5 years now as of yesterday, May 6th. The 5-year anniversary review / recap edition of Who This Been Watching for Captain America Civil War. The third of, obviously, 3 Captain America movies that have been out, part of the MCU, Marvel Cinema Universe and all that too. So thanks for joining, thanks for watching. Before we get started, of course, we also got to give a shout out to another prime, I'd say, example of the genius, the creativity, the fun that has been the MCU for the longest time, which is actually today's anniversary for. It's an odd number, so it's not really romanticized or as sexy sounding as like 5, 10, 25, all those like fancy schmancy numbers. So tonight is actually, as we record tonight, May 7th, Friday, is the 11th year anniversary of Iron Man 2, which, okay, it wasn't as great, I'd say, as Iron Man 1, but Iron Man 2 was definitely no slouch, wasn't slacking, wasn't missing. It wasn't hitting as much as 1 was because I just watched the first one not too long ago, and I remembered how much I really enjoyed it as like the first official MCU entry into the whole MCU universe. So that was fun to watch. Definitely the first one, because it tells you the origins, the building up to Iron Man. We got our reintroduction to Robert Downey Jr., you know, considering he'd been so far removed from the big screen, the spotlight per se, for the longest time because of whatever he's been going through. But then it's like America, the world, fell in love with him again because of Iron Man and how perfectly suited, no pun intended, he was to play that character for like ever, pretty much. So Iron Man 1 was a great fun ride and trip and all that shit too. Iron Man 2, again, today, funny enough, the 11th anniversary of Iron Man 2 being released, was great too in its own sense because it brought back, like Iron Man 1 did for Robert Downey Jr., it brought back into the spotlight. I think he'd already done The Wrestler, or it might have been like close enough after, whatever. I don't remember the order, but he'd just done The Wrestler, which is a great movie, not just because I'm a wrestling fan, or it was. I'm not watching wrestling no more. I'm done with it. But there was a Wrestler, and Make Your Work was riding the high again of being like in the spotlight, important. Us remembering for a newer generation, newer set of eyes, like how great he was, how much of an actor's actor he was. And, you know, he got into his trouble. He had his, like, demons, per se, as they all do, just like Robert Downey 2. But Iron Man 2 brought you back into how great and untapped of a talent that Mickey Rourke was. It gave us the MCU intro officially for a lot of men's favorite, I'll be honest with it. I mean, I was fantasizing, like, just drooling at the mouth, waiting, because we knew already who it was going to be, but waiting for the official intro, how we were going to get introduced to her for Black Widow, or Scarlett Johansson doing her thing perfectly, beautifully, chef's kiss well as Black Widow. And okay, so you can say now 11 years as Black Widow. Oh shit, I didn't even notice right now. So shout outs to 810 versus the world, a Villain of Vaughn on Twitch otherwise for joining the live. What's up, bro? To you, right back at you. To Jaleesa 1028. She just celebrated a birthday, not birthday shower, baby shower, not a birthday. The baby isn't born yet, obviously. Baby shower for Baby Payne. Her and Frankie Payne coming together like Mangoo would, making it all good. And soon enough, the debut of that beautiful bundle of joy will be whenever it's, going to happen. But peace and love to them. Always great to make more babies, considering we're still in the pandemic and people might be taking the knee as far as like being proactive in that sense, but there's still people getting busy out there and making a lot of babies. There's going to be the corona pandemic, the COVID babies, that generation coming up, in the next decade or so, whatever. We're going to have to be dealing with them. Shout outs also to Joey Snacks. Haven't seen him in a while, heard back from him in a while. So yeah, thank you, Joey Snacks, for joining in as well. And also, of course, friend to the show is always the real _ Super Nitro. That's SUPA Nitro as well. As I was saying, thanks everybody for joining in, chiming in too as well. Feel free to drop a comment and, show love every way and any way you can. It's always welcomed here on Who This Been Watching, the uncut, uncensored, and uncircumcised version. Tonight, live, Fridays, 10 p.m. here on Instagram. At Who This Is One. That's me, of course. And then you get it a couple days later or the next week following up on YouTube. YouTube.com/Who This Is One. And you get the audio format if need be, if you're on the run, on your way to work, you're going back to the office, whatever. God damn it, you're doing your thing. Whichever podcasting platform or preference you got for the audio version, the capsulized version just strictly for your earbuds, wherever you want. From whoever you want, Spotify, Stitcher, SoundCloud, iTunes, BlackBerry, if anyone's still fucking with Blackberries, Google Podcasts, even though that whole podcasting platform is so confusing and like, before it even got started like that, it's already ancient fossil fuel. It's fucking dinosaur stats and everything too, which, I did an episode not too long ago on my regular podcast. Oh, fuck it. Every week, Tuesday, Wednesday, to be determined as you get. It's kind of confusing, to be honest. I've been like preoccupied with other things and work and shit when the scheduled drop day would be. But I did that on a past episode as far as the dinosaurs are concerned. There was some guy, some fucking Professor Bonehead, like I mentioned in that episode. I think it was High Off White Privilege in time for 420. He was talking about how at some point, just because they dug up a certain undisclosed amount of T-Rex bones, or dinosaurs per se, and put them up in the museums and dusted them off and fucking, some people are there like spit shine them clean just because, they were probably ethnic of some sorts, old fashioned like that too, just to get the extra like sheen on the bones and the marrow and such. Put them up on display and everything. This guy's got the balls just because he's got science to fall back on and be ballsy about, to say, oh yeah, there was like 20 million T-Rexes, roaming the earth in fucking Doggy Style because, they got the little inverted short ass little arms. So that most likely might explain why the chickens is like so lacking of an arms and like even flightless to the point where they can't do nothing. And all they got is like these big overgrown like tendons or whatever you call it on the chickens or whatever. And running around crazy like that and, tearing up the streets as far as the cavemen and cave women are concerned. When the cavemen weren't too busy beating their wives over the head with the fucking clubs like the Flintstones and dragging them into the caves and dragging them back out to the fire to like make dinner that night, Brontosaurus burgers and whatnot. And it's still so crazy to me because he was so certain, he was so stuck on that number, like 20 million something, I forget exactly what, but that all of them were running around the earth. Now, there is that whole theory of like, maybe at some point the whole world was one supercontinent. I forget the name of it exactly. But then as time progressed, it started drifting apart and like breaking, oddly enough, off into like Africa shaped or, like Asia, European shaped, whatever the fuck too. It's like a little bit too detailed and like too elaborate to even me speaking. I'm not saying, believe me or take me as a scientist. I'm a fucking dope. But to break off that perfectly as it did into so many continents and with time drifting and like the sea parting and all that shit too. I don't know. I don't buy into that. I don't buy into 20 million T-Rexes out here going crazy and tearing each other up and doing doggy style. Because if you think about it, if you're a T-Rex, you got these stubby little arms. You can't do, you're like this, right? You're like, your arms are like right here, practically like hand length past your chest. What are you really doing? You can't, do missionary. Or if you do, how are you going to balance off the one taking it as being the one receiving it? No, how are you going to, balance off the one that's taking it from you. And if you're the giver, you're going to fall flat in your face. You're going to be like propping off of each other's like huge, humongous T-Rex heads for that too. So that's out the question. Maybe you can do laying on your sides or whatever, but then like you can't like really fully embrace, and then like you're missing each other, whatever too. And then maybe the T-Rex pussy's like more towards the ass region. So then if you do side to side facing each other, it cancels each other's out. So then doggy style would be like the only thing you can imagine per se. This is me just, putting it out there, just thinking out loud like a fucking moron would with too much time in his hands, but what if that's all they had left to do was, so why is it doggy style and not T-Rex style? Because dogs weren't out there too. They weren't out there existing at the times of the dinosaurs roaming the earth and shit like that, or were they? Maybe like they were, like they weren't cats, but they were like saber-toothed tigers, or instead of dogs, they were like gigantic, like oversized werewolves or something, or some variant of dogs from back when times. Because the T-Rexes and the dinosaurs and all them too, they couldn't have been the only ones inhabiting the earth like that. So then when you start thinking of evolution and then like how that chain breaks down as time progresses, when do these other animals start popping up that aren't like overgrown birds allegedly, or reptiles and all this shit too? And then one's a carnivore, one's a plant eater, one's in between, undecided, like most of the genders are today, or the young youth generations are today. It's all confusing. But that's T-Rex talk. That's ancient history talk. That's allegedly, man-made, fabricated history, because that's the history they present to you. And then when you're so young and you're so ready to get out of school, high school, whatever the fuck you make it to, and no judgment here, because I only made it to 2 years of college, but I did graduate, by the way. I got my associates. So you're so ready to get out of school. Do you ever get the time to sit down and question, are these fucking dinosaurs real to begin with? And how do we know these bones aren't just like man-made artifacts or something like that? Because how do you stumble upon a big-ass T-Rex head in the ground? Yeah, I get you gotta excavate, you gotta fucking dig deep enough. But then how the fuck do they know? How do they know where to dig? How do they know approximately, allegedly, where to do so? Because there's still, I remember clearly, Japan 10, 12 something years ago. It was in the news. I want to say CNN Online, or one of those like actual, like legit sites, before CNN went all like one side politics, whatever bullshit like that, as they all tend to do. News sources tend to like lean towards this, that, the other. But it was online, I want to say, that they made it clear enough. Japanese, somewhere in Antarctica, or like the Russian-esque region, up there where there's a ton of fucking ice and no one's fucking living there past like, or maybe the ice helps preserve it until like 60 plus, whatever. But up there in the ice, they'd found a fully preserved woolly mammoth, allegedly, like the old ass prehistoric elephants with the big ass tusks and all that, hairy as fuck too, kind of like if they were like Albanian elephants, pretty much, like hairy as fuck. Found one perfectly preserved in the ice, took it back to Japan, allegedly. This is according to the story, and this is a legit source as far as CNN's concerned. They took the fucking fully restored woolly mammoth, preserved perfectly in ice, took it back with them, and they were basically gonna do something on the scale of Jurassic Park, as in take a fucking DNA sample from the fucking thing, try to play around, play God with the DNA and shit, like they did with the fucking perfectly preserved mosquito. If you ever watched the first Jurassic Park, perfectly preserved mosquito, take the blood, play around with it, and recreate all these fucking things that existed beforehand, because apparently this mosquito was a hoe and sucking off this dinosaur and that dinosaur, and it got around before it, it didn't die, but it just got preserved in prehistoric amber like that too. They were going to do that with this woolly mammoth and recreate that shit. No, it wasn't Digimon, goddammit, Super Nitro. Or it would be on the scale of Digimon if they were able to pull it off too. But then, of course, I was never able to find that story again afterwards. But it's still ingrained here. I mean, listen, I know a lot of dumb shit that I kept stored in the memory banks uselessly for however long it's been. Oh, shout outs to All I Do Is Mix, still on the West Coast doing this thing out there, and also to Yasin_BTLB for joining the live as well. I still remember that story because, funny enough, listen, they're going to hide, they're going to play dumb, they're going to be like, wait a second, what are you talking about? We didn't find no fucking woolly mammoth. But yeah, thank you, Super Nitro. See, I'm not talking crazy out here. It was online somewhere, obviously not on TV, not to scare people like that, but then it just went away. Like, I can't find it no more. As much as I try to do specifics with the Google SEO and all that shit too, and algorithms too, they probably know that there's one person out there who, also Super Nitro now too, remembers that shit happened. And it's real shit. But then they're going to try to play dumb and try to make us seem like we're dumb. They're going to gaslight us pretty much. They're going to treat us like we're the video vixen hoe. They got scooped up by Joe Budden. And Joe Budden, infamous for his gaslighting, allegedly. He's going to like convince us that we're all wrong. We fucking thought these things in our head. And it never even happened. So when it comes time for somebody outside to ask us what happened or what we thought happened, we're going to have a different idea than what we actually happened or how we perceive things. But that's gaslighting aside, that's Joe Budden's side. That's woolly mammoth existing somewhere in Japan, deep in the nestles of, supposedly, allegedly, I'm still convinced thoroughly though. It's out there, preserved somewhere. Speaking of being preserved in ice, if you remember the story being told of Captain America. Now listen, if you watch the first one, Captain America, the first Avenger, I like the fact that if we're going to go into it, I mean, listen, I liked Captain America for the ideology of, because he was kind of like, both him and Iron Man are like the Batmen of the MCU, the Marvel Universe. Because if you think about it, Iron Man a lot more obviously because they share similarities. They're asshole, billionaires, geniuses. Well, I believe it's either just the movie realm or maybe the comic book realm too, but Iron Man invented, or Tony Stark's invented, a whole new element, supposedly, which Bruce Wayne hasn't been able to do because he's too busy, you know, what was it, playing fucking pussy roulette with fucking Catwoman and Poison Ivy and maybe even Harley Quinn at some point too, if they ever got that far into the fucking comic book realm. But because he's been so busy with the pussy on the mind like that, instead of like just playboy status, arrogant asshole as Tony Stark's been, he's been able to develop a new element, all that shit too. But again, they're assholes, billionaires, no powers whatsoever, but they've been able to create their powers per se, because Iron Man builds all the suits, depending on the case scenarios, and he kind of studies all his allies and foes to know their downfalls and where to nitpick at them if, God forbid, they turn or they need to fucking, you know, do whatever they got to do to bring them down, depower them, or bring them back down to his level. Same thing as Batman. When he joined up with the Justice League, he always had a fail-safe proof plan of how to defeat everybody, if need be, even to the level of Superman too. So just like Iron Man, he had the Hulk Buster suit, he had the Thor Buster suit, he had the, there was another one that was really cool I forgot about, but there was like a god level almost suit he created where he was able to like fight mano a mano, you know, iron mano a mano with some other fucking celestial being and shit too, and bring him down to his scale. So yeah, there's definitely that too. Captain America could kind of be thrown in there too, just because, well, he's a good old boy, USA, you know, running through the veins and shit like that, red, white, and blue. And of course, no powers. That's the biggest comparison to bringing back the Batman. But it's definitely more Iron Man, Batman, like, to comparison, to be fair. Captain America could be in there too, but I like the fact that it only took about 2 movies, the first Avenger and the Winter Soldier, to make Captain America cool. Because for as long as I can remember from the comic books, which I read from very young, I wasn't big on the comic books. I was like here and there. Like whatever my mom bought me when she could buy them off the like Jamaican off the fucking street corner that stole, or I don't know, forever borrowed for free, the comic books from a bigger store. She'd buy it off him at the street corner, and I'd get like a random mix of fucking whoever, X-Men, Batman thrown in the mix, fucking Captain America, Spider-Man. So I never get one steady like flow as far as like a story progressing in my brain. So I never fully learned anybody's real like full story arc like that. So I always got a mix of a little bit of everything. and even like Scooby-Doo comics, but who the fuck's reading that shit? But okay. I do like that it only took in the fucking movie realm 2 movies to make Captain America cool, because the suit could have worked. It's kind of neutral there, but then like the morals, the values, the being too patriotic, if they would have stuck, I think, to the comic book version a little bit too much, it would have been like Captain MAGA pretty much. More in tune with the sentiment of today's nature, or state of the nature, whatever the fuck. But thank God it only took 2 movies to make him cool. And also, of course, the producers, directors, they knew how to kind of like fine tune the story, you know, make it more relatable to today's terms and all that shit too. They just made him cool. So that's always good. That's good that they were able to do that within 2 movies. And now we're going to be talking about Civil War, which is the 3rd Captain America movie, which is the first unofficial like crossing over of all, up until that point, every Marvel superhero we got to know, or who's been already a star in their own sense, coming together on one fucking screen in one story. Before we go into fucking, you know, Infinity War, before we go into fucking Endgame and all that shit too. The pretty good first Avengers, and then the not so great but not terrible either fucking, what was it, Age of Ultron. I didn't love that one so much, even though it had its high points, but I don't know. The general sentiment for Age of Ultron seems to be like, it was hit and miss. And I remember honestly falling asleep to that one a lot of times more than I'm proud of. Avengers 1 I've seen too many times already. It's always on FX or something like that too. So I don't even bother with that one no more. There's nothing really there going on a lot. It's cool. It was the first one of its kind. And then Infinity War, maybe I'll discuss later on why, or elaborate more, but I could definitely say that of all the Marvel movies, I want to put Infinity War as number 1. Definitely number 1. Civil War will get into full length and detail as to why, but I will put that at a very close neck and neck, almost number 2. Infinity War, Captain America, Civil War. Maybe even trading off one so often, but there is some low points of Civil War, which I'll point out as well as mentioned later on in the episode. But yeah, let's get into it then. All right, so okay, you've seen up until now. Oh, shout out to, okay, I know I say the names and such too. It's just a habit. You know, Jamie.S_world, or AKA Val. Simpler terms. For joining the live as well. 810 versus the world. Captain America is like the Marvel Superman. No, I wouldn't say so. I'm not saying you're wrong, but because if Captain America, if you read the stats on him, he can only bench press like I think 1,100 pounds, which is like stupid stats to, like, if he was a regular human, he'd be like 2 Mark Henrys, 2 Big E's together to bench press that weight. Superman does that with like the flick of a pinky. Or he could probably do that with like a soft dick and just flip the fucking whole barbell up with that weight and then some on top of that too. I think Thor will be more the equivalent of Superman in the Marvel universe to battle or compare to Superman. Because Captain America get fucked up easily. Like, he'll just fucking do yeah, I could do this all day. After getting like one, you know, pimp slap from fucking Superman. But then, you know, he could just like rip through him. You know, he could do the laser eye beams. He could do like the fucking freeze breath. He could just like, I don't know, like fart hard enough in Captain America's face and look just like keel over. And, you know, whatever. That'll be the end of him. But, all right. So, yeah. Civil War. It's the 3rd fucking, It's the 3rd of the Captain Americas. Because, again, you had the first Avenger and you had Winter Soldier. You get Civil War. Oh shit, it's fucking here, it's fucking there, with this guy debuting and this person first time ever on the screen, and a lot of shit going on. Captain America is Superman. Thor's abilities is Superman. I'm not sure what you mean by that, Nitro, but yeah, I think you're co-signing what I said. Thor is like on the scale of Superman per se, because he's a Norse god and all these abilities, like. Honestly, Thor should be the only one that exists as a superhero, but he can't be everywhere all the time, so I guess that's the whole branching out of the universe and shit. Same with Superman. He can't be everywhere all the time, so I guess that's why Batman and Green Arrow and Wonder Woman, you know, all of them exist. I guess to keep them preoccupied, let them all have a job. Let them all feel like they're all team players, let's say, because somebody has got to be the star athlete, football what's the quarterback jockey that takes all the fucking glory. And then of course it's a team effort. Oh, hey, everybody did it too. I couldn't do it without my team and shit. Whatever. He's doing that for the scholarship. The suck the cock of the college he wants to go to that bad. Because, you know, they got the kind of white girls he loves that much too over there. But that aside, you know, all right. So Civil War, like I was saying, build up to it. Okay. So up until this point, you know, the Avengers, they've been able to do the thing around the world as far as saving the world, and you know, the world as a collective can't say thank you. Enough people do their thing and say thank you to them. But apparently there's the government. Uncle Sam, you know, Big Brother, always keeping one or two eyes on your ass. I mean, just look at your fucking Google search history. Just look at your fucking YouTube algorithm. How do they fucking know already what you're gonna fucking look up? How do they know what to cater to you, to keep you in a loophole, deep diving into YouTube until like 12 midnight when you only plan to be on there to like watch one quick thing like how to fucking do a fucking Windsor tie because you got a job interview, and the next thing you know, you missed it just because you got deep into a fucking rabbit hole about like aliens or been up your ass this whole time in your sleep. And now you got to keep one eye open, but then it really was roaches because you live in a fucking roach infested building or something. But yeah, Big Brother, the government has an issue with the Avengers kind of doing their thing. And at the cost of casualties, civilians getting taken out left and right just because, oh, excuse me, I'm sorry, I'm a superhero. I have superpowered abilities. I'm above average compared to humans. So, of course, I'm the one that's got to go to space or meet the evil people halfway there. You know, Thanos and Loki and whoever else you could think of, or who's the one from Guardians of the Galaxy? I forget his name. Ronan? Whatever his fucking name is. Purple face fuck. Whatever. He looked like Grimace from the McDonald's gang or whatever from the 90s and shit. But yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm a superhero. I just so happen to have enough powers to battle and fight off these assholes coming in from other galaxies, trying to take over the world and enslave everybody. So at the risk of maybe losing somebody over here and somebody over there who just happen to be around when superheroes are fighting bad guys, what do you want me to do about it? I can't be Superman swooping in last second, saving Lois Lane from danger, because he's a masochist and he loves fucking getting his dick hard, thinking about, yeah, I'm gonna let her fucking suffer, get tortured just enough, but then I'm gonna swoop in and save the day so I can get some extra wet pussy that night because she's so grateful to me all the time. Time to cancel Superman. Why don't you think about that shit? But that's Superman, that's DC talk. You know, they're doing their thing, the Avengers, they're protecting the universe at all costs, at all expenses, and the government's basically saying, listen, we gotta sign your ass up. We gotta fucking have you all signed on the dotted line, promising that if you're gonna bust ass, if you're gonna take over whatever part of the universe you can and protect us at the same time, you gotta do it safely. You gotta do it to our liking. You gotta make sure you kill as least people as possible. Listen, because if you remember Man of Steel, Superman and General Zod, they did a really bad job of fucking up the city and tearing down buildings, and people were dying and all this shit too. And I remember my mom loving the movie up until that point, because my mom's a simp. She was out here simping hard for fucking Henry Cavill. I mean, good looking man, handsome, you know, pause, no taking away from that. But up until they were wrecking the city and tearing it apart, you know, steel beam from steel beam, she was like, what are they doing? Why do they have to destroy so much? What's the purpose and all that? Like, idiot. What the fuck's the problem? They're saving the world at the expense of, okay, maybe ravaging the city. Maybe fucking Ben in accounting has to die at the expense of fucking Superman's laser beam eyesight. Or, you know, General Zod just having to fucking stumble his way through a building and, oh, there goes Allie in fucking human resources. I'm sorry, that happens. Why are you in the middle of fucking a superhero battle? But that happens, right? So the Avengers are pretty much pinned up against the wall. And now here comes the division. Because you got Iron Man, who's like, listen, assholes, you got to calm the fuck down. We did too much because, you know, a mom, and I hate this part because I hate this guilt trip they do to him. The mom comes up to him after he gives a speech at MIT and promises to fucking pay off, and he does. He's that rich. He's a billionaire. He promises to pay off all these kids and grant their fucking ideas enough fundings, as stupid as the ideas may be, he says you're all paid for, you're all financially backed for, so everything's green lit. You know, go crazy, get lit, and don't do drugs, but don't do too much where you forget what you're inventing in the first place. So they're doing their thing. So she confronts him afterwards saying, oh, my son was in fucking Sokovia when you guys were doing your thing and having your superpowered orgy in the middle of the sky and tearing the city apart like a fucking virgin pussy. And my son died at your expense. And that's just picture, and you hold on to that asshole because you killed him. You killed him. You murdered my son. I was like, oh, God, I'm sorry. I didn't mean it. You know, he can't say all that because he's like too caught up in the moment. But then he comes back to the rest of them. He's like, listen, assholes, we did all this. This guy died on my watch. So we got to calm the fuck down and play nice with the government. And then Captain America, you know, patriotic boy, had they not done him right or not made him cool with the first two movies, he would have been Captain MAGA. But thank God, no, he's really cool. I love Captain America and the way he comes off in the films. He's like, no, because we can't cuck ourselves just because Uncle Sam doesn't like how sloppy of a job we do. But guess what? We get the job done. Are you still here? Are you still alive? Are you still free to live in the United States or wherever on fucking God's green earth you exist? Yes, you're welcome, by the way. So there's the whole inner turmoil. And then, of course, there's Zevo, this guy from Sokovia who lost his family because of the Avengers going crazy like that, trying to defeat an ultra-powered AI evil being, Ultron. He lost his family, so he's all hell-bent. And he says, no, I'm going to fucking divide them from the middle. I'm going to work them from the fucking pussy up and just split them apart as best I can. And he does this so fucking elaborately. Then, you know, in the middle of the fucking UNs and shit. Oh, shout outs to Blue is Beautiful podcast for joining as well. Almost missed you. Shout outs to you. And shout outs to Canada, because that's where you represent. And I have a fondness for Canadians, if it means anything to you, because of Bret the Hitman Hart. I've loved him from a young age. He's always been my favorite. Trading here on and off with the Macho Man and such. But yeah, he's up there, up and stuck as number one. But yeah, so they go to the UN. They're fucking doing this thing. There's this one guy who blows up fucking the king of Wakanda, King T'Chaka. And then there's T'Challa, which is rest in peace, Black Panther, aka Chadwick Boseman. We get introduced to him for the very first time in the MCU here in Civil War. He comes off so cool whenever he's on screen. And I don't mean just because he's RIP'd now or he's no longer with us, but for the fact that he comes off so cool, calm, collected, so wise beyond his years and shit. He was so perfectly casted. And considering he wasn't that young either, but he plays it to a fucking T as far as the Black Panther is concerned. He loses his dad because they set off a bomb during the fucking speech to be like, you know, we have to support the Avengers. They're doing their job. It may be a little sloppy, maybe this, that, the other, but they're still doing their thing for our own well-being, for everybody's well-being, not just America, not just because it's Captain America. The whole world basically has a fucking big thank you that they IOU to the Avengers. So then, once they see that happens, once King T'Chaka gets blown to bits, RIP'd and shit, you know, Black Panther's hell-bent on fucking who they planned to make it look like the Winter Soldier, who's still under fucking mind control, manipulation and such. But he happens to be Captain America's best friend, BFF forever since like 1920 something, whatever. So they pin the shit on him as far as bombing the shit and killing King T'Chaka. Black Panther wants his ass really bad. Captain America's fucking torn inside because his girl died, Peggy Carter, who is, what's her name in real life? Haley, some weird name like that, but a pretty white girl name for a pretty ass white girl as well too. Funny enough, chef's kiss. What a woman, that girl. But she RIPs as well too. He's torn up inside, emotionally distressed and whatever too. But he's got to protect his best friend Bucky from Black Panther and the whole fucking world practically, or at least like the German police. They're after his ass too. So then that chase ensues. They're all arrested because they're going crazy in Germany of all places too as well. And then they're locked up. And then Zevo fucking able to trigger the Winter Soldier again into turning him into who he was previously under Soviet control and all that. He's killing people again, all over again. It's going crazy. It's all over the place. So now they're like, okay, listen, now we got to sign this shit. It's got to be official. Iron Man's like, listen, you got to sign, or we got to take away your shield. We got to take away your powers or gadgets and all that shit too. You can't do this no more. We can't comply. So that's where the Civil War starts to fucking exist and starts to really expand the gap between them, because again, Captain America's like, fuck no, you can't tell me what to do. God damn it, you can't step all over me. He's like, don't tread on me, pretty much. And Iron Man's like, listen, we've been advantageous as far as the powers we got, the abilities we've been blessed with and shit. We just gotta play nice with the government. Of all people, Tony, Iron Man, you think he'd be the one to be roles reversed, but oddly enough, they're playing off each other like that. So everybody goes rogue. Then there's a whole battle of fucking trying to bring them in because they escaped out of the fucking jail in Germany. Was it Falcon, Captain America, Winter Soldier, and all of them too? They're on the run. So then it comes all together at this fucking airport. I forget where exactly. They fuck each other up. Oh, and by the way, also we're introduced officially to Spider-Man, the MCU version of Spider-Man, Tom Holland. He comes in the mix doing his thing as well. Then they bring in Ant-Man, which is always cool too as well. I really enjoyed Ant-Man. They bring in useless ass, good for nothing, fucking super cucked, depowered ass Hawkeye, which never a fan of Hawkeye. I didn't like him in the first Avengers. I never liked him in the comic books. I never liked his fucking costume. I like Jeremy Renner, but I hate him as Hawkeye. I don't like him. I don't enjoy him. He fucking makes no sense. Of all the Avengers to fucking be the OGs and shit, I understood him the least. Okay, great. He can fucking fling arrows at like the speed of light and shit too. But he's human. He's gonna get tired. That fucking arrow shooting hand is gonna develop arthritis or carpal tunnel syndrome and shit too. Then what's he gonna be good for? Because while Captain America's fucking living off to be 500 plus years old because of the super soldier serum. Okay, maybe Black Widow might be like 60 years old, it might be too old, or on Medicare, trying to fucking kill people left and right and doing all the splits and flips in the air too, like a master assassin would. I get that too. But then she'll be able to contribute a lot more. She actually handles real weapons and can kill people with her bare hands, mind you, instead of fucking Hawkeye who has to use his fucking bow and arrow, not fucking Robin Hood. Men in Tights Robin Hood, not even fucking like the cool ass one they did years after the fact, the 1993. The one with David Chappelle is one of the Merry Men, Robin Hood, that version. The simp, otherwise a cuck. But they bring him back out of retirement unofficially. Then you get everybody fucking each other up at the airport. Vision, we'll get to this point. But then Vision, shoots a fucking beam or whatever the fuck he's got by mistake at War Machine. He comes tumbling from the sky because his suit's depowered automatically. He's crippled. He's like presumably disabled and all that shit too. He's no good. He's rendered useless pretty much. He's like a vegetable. He's like a vegetable in a metal lunchbox pretty much. That's what they did with him. He's useless. And by the way, I never liked Don Cheadle too much anyway either. And I don't find him funny. I don't know why people paint him as so hilarious, funny, this, that, the other too. There's no judgment on his acting. I do like his acting. I don't like when he tries to be funny or they portray him as a comedic actor of all people. I just don't find him funny. But whatever. He's paralyzed, so then they come to realization like, okay, listen, we're tearing each other apart literally. We can't be doing this to each other because we still got one main threat out there, the Zevo guy, who wants to get rid of the super soldier serum. He's instigating all this shit amongst us too. So finally, they fucking put their heads together. Iron Man, Captain America, and the Winter Soldier, they go up to the fucking place in Russia where they created the Winter Soldier and the rest of them too as well. Zevo's already there. Oh, spoilers, by the way, if you haven't seen it. But you had 5 whole fucking years to do it, so don't blame me or come bitching to me afterwards. They make it up to in Russia where they created him. Winter Soldier, I mean. So then motherfucking Zevo already got there early. He fucking killed each one of them, made sure that none of them lived because he was tired. He was upset, fed up with fucking superpowered beings. So that's where he started. They all get there, and then the bomb drops on us all. I still remember this moment in the theater. This is why I went to go see this shit twice. I love this movie this much. I still remember the collective first, that face. Like, the stunned nature of everybody in the theater, the collective gasp. when they saw that who had killed Iron Man's parents was motherfucking the Winter Soldier. Under mind control, of course. The Russians had convinced him to fucking do his thing, blind him mentally where he just goes into automatic kill mode, and it just so happens he killed off motherfucking Iron Man's parents. He always wondered what happened, but now he sees clearly. That was the big collective that happens. That would have been enough right there to like be like, oh shit, what a movie. This is fucking drama building to the fucking fullest. But then Iron Man looks to kill his ass immediately because he's enraged, and rightfully so, whatever, too. But then the bigger, if that was a fucking ion bomb, this is a fucking mega nuclear, whatever fucking bomb, Nagasaki bomb and shit. Afterwards, right after, when he looks at Captain, he's like, did you know? Because Captain America and Winter Soldier are best friends, BFFs, whatever, too. Whatever, so they keep each other's secrets. You know, they take it to the grave practically, whenever they die, if they die. He's like, did you know? Captain America, the bigger gasp comes at everybody once he nods his head like, yes, I knew. Oh shit, everybody's fucking torn up inside. They can't believe themselves, they're beside themselves, all that shit too. It's incredible, it's emotional. Everybody's gasping in the theater. So then these three are fucking each other up, and Iron Man's relentless on trying to kill Winter Soldier because he killed his parents, even though he was blinded. He was under the spell of the fucking Russians, all that too when he did it. And Captain America's behind him trying to hold him off and trying to make sure he doesn't kill nobody, all that too. It's crazy. But yeah, then all that's going on, it's insanity. They're tearing each other apart, and then fucking they make it to the point where literally Iron Man does fucking get the better of the two of them. He fucking ion beams off fucking Winter Soldier's arm. Clean off. He's fucking useless at this point because he was all nothing but that arm. But then Captain America's pissed off. He's just fighting back like, my best friend, you fuck. God damn it. It's like they queued up that song, Doja Cat and Sweetie or something, or whatever her name is, My Best Friend, which is a trash fucking song, but it's like they queued it up in his head. He's like, my best friend, my bestie, my buddy from Brooklyn, whatever. And he's going at him. He fucking practically kills him, but he just depowers Iron Man by fucking driving that shield into his energy source, whatever thing on his chest, whatever. Which is stupid enough because, listen, if you're a billionaire, you build all these suits. You're a fucking genius inventing your own elements and all that shit too. Why would you keep your power source fully exposed on the outside of your chest for anybody to just like, the Winter Soldier's trying to yank it out of him, but then Iron Man got quick enough to fucking blast his arm off before he could. And then Captain America knew immediately, instead of beheading him with the shield, he said, fuck it, I'll just depower him and drive that shit through his power source. That's where the movie ends. Captain America goes rogue, he drops the shield, he runs off with Falcon and Winter Soldier to do their thing together, live off the map. Iron Man goes back to his half of the Avengers and fucking they live, well, presumably happily ever after. You know, until Infinity War comes and the Endgame and all that other shit too. But shout outs to NYC Fly for joining the live as well too, and shout outs to him, shout outs to Kudos, and shout outs to Auto Out for them doing their thing. A nice little collective of young boys there too. Pause, I didn't mean in that sense, but they're young, literally, and they're boys, all of them. But they got together, they did this thing with they do their thing with the fucking music. That's a fucking, I wouldn't be surprised if it builds up to be a movement amongst them, because Philly's the producer. Otto's like the main artist, I'd say too, the main like brains of the operation, and Kudos, he does his thing too. Not as often as he should, and I'm waiting to see some new shit, hear some new shit from Jimmy Kudo, but we'll see when. Okay, so yeah, that's the recapping on the movie itself. Now listen, we're going to get to the fucking final points that I had to make notes of in the movie itself. Now, you can agree with me, you can disagree with me too. Oh shit, I didn't even see we had like comments. Super Nitro says, the irony of destroying the city while saving it. Yes, at the expense of everybody that lives in the city. Of course that happens, you know, it's a part of having superheroes. We don't have them in real life. Or who knows, maybe there's a real life fucking at least Hawkeye that's out there. And he's probably MAGA, you know, knowing our luck, if anything, too. So that's not really an advantage to us. It's really an advantage for fucking the Trump supporters out there. But again, that's neither Trump nor Biden. We're not talking that shit here. I'm just saying. Most likely Hawkeye would have been a Trump guy, I think. But yeah. Let's see. Okay, so a really good thing I love from how the movie starts is that they show initially what Bucky / Winter Soldier did as far as killing Iron Man's parents, but they don't show what he did, and they don't show who he killed from the get-go, because that's good dramatic buildup. We already know from the previous Captain America Winter Soldier that the Winter Soldier had killed a lot, got a lot of dirt on him and shit too, so, you know, it's just a matter of time before we find out, like, in depth, like, he hit somewhere too close to home, like he did killing off Iron Man's parents, as he did. But again, we don't get that hint just yet. We get alluded to it right before it happens towards the end when they finally drop the dramatic dun 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 bomb on us afterwards too. So I like that. I appreciate that they actually took the time to like build a story, build it up properly, and make it really nice. I do have an issue with, specifically in this case, Falcon. And I don't remember if he did it in this movie. No, he definitely did it in the first Avengers. Maybe the second one, and then on and off whenever he got the chance. Iron Man, I mean. I don't know why the guys that could fly in the MCU, you got superpowers, you got the ability to fly, have this need, have this like, I don't know, tendency to just feel like, okay, I'm going to dive off this building really quick. I'm just going to free fall, making it look like I'm committing suicide practically. But then the very last second, like literally 10 feet from the ground, I'm just going to swoop up. To impress who? To impress him how? I don't get it. You can fly. You don't have to deep dive like Iron Man would, because of course the building up to like, I'm going to dive off this side of the building and I'm going to let my suit come together slowly and surely for the camera and the fucking build up to the crowd and shit. And then eventually when I'm like 5 inches from the ground, I'm like dick length from the ground, hitting it practically. Whoop, swoop up, and then, hey, I'm taking off like nothing happened. Falcon does it, Thor does it, Iron Man does it. Vision does it too at some point of all things. He's like AI, literally. He's like an algorithm living and breathing. He's not even a tangible object per se. And even he does it with his British ass sounding motherfucking ass doing it too as well. Just straight suicide diving and whoop, last second swoop up like nothing happens. But okay, there's that too. I had an issue with that, because if you can fly, why not just immediately take off immediately from where you pounce off? It's not even like what do you call it, Super Mario World, when he had the cape. You had to get the feather to get the cape, you had to get a running start and then jump and then take off immediately like that. They could do that. Mario could do that. Why can't you do it? Falcon, Thor, Vision, Iron Man, all them too. No, they got a suicide dive to sell, make it look all fancy and nice, and then last second when they're about to hit the ground, nope, psych, whoop, swoop right up. All right. So I already mentioned that they made Captain America cool within the realm of 2 movies, which is great. They saved it from being Captain MAGA. A point I wanted to make too was in this film and Winter Soldier, obviously, not Falcon and Winter Soldier, which is great. Great series. Very enjoyable, very bingeable. I didn't like that they switched up the arm design on Bucky / the Winter Soldier. Obviously, it's because he got his original arm blasted off by Iron Man. And Iron Man could have built him a new one, maybe just give him a new paint job, whatever, but I don't like the new arm for the sake of the design. It does look cool. Like the black with like the gold trimming around it too, gold piping design, whatever on it as well. But I like the old one from Winter Soldier and Civil War as well too. This one here is like all fucking silver, like gunmetal with like the big Russian red star on the side. It just looks so hard. It looked like so intimidating. But then again too, if they're gonna recreate him, if he's gonna have a brand new arm courtesy of the Wakandians and all that too, I don't think they're gonna recreate the fucking evil looking arm they had. They're gonna give him something more Pacific looking, even though it looks like a really nice paint job. It looks like the color scheme on the new arm looks like something that would be nice on like a BMW or like a really souped up Nissan with like the fucking the shotgun mufflers and the really revved up engine and whatnot too. But I mean, that's more visually appealing than it should be. But yeah, I miss the old design of the old arm. That was pretty cool. In the first part of the movie, by the way, we get 4, not 1, not 2, not 3, 4 fucking great fights throughout the movies. And neither one of them lack in action, in dramatic build-up, and just being fun and entertaining as fights should be. Funny enough, this came after, 5 years also, but this came, let's say 3 months after Batman vs. Superman Dawn of Justice, which is more of a guilty pleasure film for me because I wanted to like it. Obviously, it's Batman vs. Superman. The number one and number two, however you rank them yourself, might be individual choice, but number one, number two on the DCU end of the universe. None of the fights, none of the action sequences in that movie are really memorable, aside from the Batman warehouse scene, which I'll sing the praises of that film for that scene alone the whole time. That scene is chef's kiss, beautiful. Batman in his purest form and element, just fucking up everybody in sight, left and right, killing, murdering, and saving the day, by the way. Because, of course, Superman has to always get emo, always got to get in his feelings. Superman's always got to drake it up with how he feels about things and how he approaches things and how he gets confronted with things. He can't handle nothing. So that's what he does to himself. But yeah, funny enough how 3 months apart from each other, Batman vs. Superman, Dawn of Justice versus motherfucking Civil War. Again, none of the fucking fight scenes besides the Batman warehouse scene in Dawn of Justice stand out like that or even memorable or fun. All four fight scenes, action sequences, whatever you want to call it, in Civil War are fucking fun, are fucking memorable. We get hit with one immediately as soon as the movie starts with them in fucking Nigeria, going after Crossbones, which I like Crossbones. I remember him from the comics. I always liked him, just the name, the look, everything was so cool. I wish they would have done more with him, but for the sake of the story and not jam-packing everything too, as we see later on, we get a lot of fighting later on. It's all right in this case, we kind of rule him out, we kind of toss him aside, so it's fucking. But funny enough, during that scene, once they build up to the end of it, when they finally capture him or he tries to kill Captain America, fucking imploding himself, whatever you want to call it, too. Right before that, Black Widow is fucking up these two guys in like the little haciendas, the huts, whatever, in Nigeria, for like at least a straight 2 minutes, like solo dolo, rolling in there, two grown-ass men who could probably like kill her if they really wanted to, but they couldn't because, of course, they're probably holding back because it's a woman. And, you know, if it would have been 5 years later, instead of 5 years ago when this shit came out, this movie would have been canceled for the fact that it even like took one swing at a woman. But yeah, she's fucking these two guys up like phenomenally for like 2 minutes straight. It was so fucking funny for her just to like showcase herself like that too. But Black Widow's always been like that. She's always been a favorite of mine just because of how she looks in the black suit and how she looks in every fucking tight piece of clothing she wears while she's like flipping and diving and just breaking arms and limbs and sweeping the leg and all that too. She's fantastic and phenomenal. Shout out to Scarlett Johansson. All right, so then we get to, we talked about that already. Yeah, we did that. Oh, shout outs to Cito Base from Afro Dominicano, always representing. Appreciate you for checking in. And also, I'm going to fuck this up. I know who you are. No, I don't even know your name, honestly. I'm so bad with names. But Joel, I'm going to assume Joeluz.photos for joining as well. Thank you for joining in as well. And appreciate you, and shout outs to you also for doing your thing on the lens end, front and back. So we get the waterboarding scene afterwards. So this is when Zemo finds the guy that he wants more secrets from as far as December 16th, 1991. Mission report, that was a meme for a while too. A very funny meme too also. I like the waterboard scene, and it was very daring for like Marvel to do that because I would have envisioned a waterboarding scene to be more on the realm of DC. That would have been more up their alley per se to do. I was surprised that they did it here. They did it effectively. It wasn't like overdone. It wasn't cheesy. It wasn't like, we'll just let this build itself up to be whatever just for the sake of it's a waterboarding scene. No, it plays well into the fucking role of Zemo, how evil and corrupt and hell-bent on destroying the Avengers from the inside out he is by tearing them apart as, a villain should. Really intelligently breaking down his fucking opponent, his enemy, from the outside in and the inside out in this case with Zemo's concerned. But yeah, I like that they did a waterboarding scene. That was very daring. But yeah, that was good. That was a nice touch. Let's see. At 35 minutes in, like I mentioned before, RIP as always, and too bad we lost him as young as he was. I'd still say he was young. Chadwick Boseman, aka Black Panther. 35 minutes in, we get his official debut into the Marvel Universe here in Civil War. At the United Nations meeting, him and his father, King T'Chaka, again, at the expense of Wakanda defending and standing on the side of the Avengers doing their thing always. They're just trying to, do what's best for the world on a grander scale. So it's just hard to, again, it's hard to fucking take that in because he's sorely missed. And it leaves you to wonder what they're going to do, how they're going to do. Newly announced, just announced now, Black Panther Wakanda Forever, the follow-up to 2018's Black Panther solo film, which is, I think, still, according to what stats say, the best grossing number one in the box office as far as all the Marvel movies are concerned. Black Panther, and then right behind him was Captain Marvel, if I'm not mistaken. Surprisingly, Captain Marvel. I'm not going to join on the bandwagon of hate that Captain Marvel gets, just because I'm guilty, number one, of being a horny boy and or a full-fledged red-blooded male. I love Brie Larson. Oh my God, I think she's the cutest little thing ever. Oh, one of them. Not the cutest little thing ever, but I just find her so attractive too. I mean, that was really the selling point for me for Captain Marvel. Otherwise, had it been just about anybody else, it would have really been internally for me debatable as to whether I watch it or not. But I think she's cute as a button. I think she's a nice little piece of ass. So that was a selling point for me. Captain Marvel in itself, I didn't love it. It was okay. I mean, it was too long, I think, number one. Two, they kind of tried to build up a lot from almost nothing there because she had no real struggle coming up. She had no real challenges to overcome. I think when they were doing the whole flashback build-up of remember who you are. You're Captain Marvel for a reason. You got blessed with these powers because whatever and shit. The whole flashback montage build-up to her reminding herself that she's Captain Marvel was like her falling on the playground, scraping her knee, or I think shitting herself on the school bus on the way to school, but she still made it to school anyway with shitty pants and all that. It was stupid. It was nonsensical. There was no real challenge right there. I mean, Captain America was a fucking shriveled up little fuck from, in the movie universe, Brooklyn, but in the comic book realm, from the Lower East Side, Manhattan. So let's get that straight first off. A shriveled up little fuck who was desperate to join the World War. World War I, because he wanted to fight for his country. But at least at that sense, he got to war. Well, afterwards, when he was Captain America already, he went to war. He fucking met up with fucking, what's his face? Red Skull, all them shits too. Okay, there was a purpose at least there. There was a build up there. Captain Marvel went through fucking nothing. She just caught the after effects of a jet plane explosion that had cosmic altering DNA enchanting fucking particles in it too, and she just happened to be Captain Marvel because of it as a result. So I didn't love Captain Marvel too much. I'm not gonna say it's terrible, but it's meh at best. Okay, so in going back to that, and speaking of like I said, Black Panther, the chase scene between him and when trying to pin down or chase down, obviously, Winter Soldier was really fun. Running through Germany, I like the fucking choreographed fighting here too a lot, because I don't know who's in charge of that shit, but I'm glad that they don't do a lot of what fucking DC does, which is they kind of build it a grand scale like they did with fucking right now the Snyder cut of Justice League. That whole big, useless, good for nothing, adding nothing to the story battle between, what was it, Steppenwolf and all the fucking Amazonians on the island. All that extra footage of them fucking chasing each other with horses and this, that, the other. First off, super heavy on the CGI. None of it looked convincing. I'm sorry. A lot of the film did look good. The Snyder Cut version was better than the OG version, but not by a lot. It was comparing like really loose watery diarrhea to like that diarrhea you kind of get on the road to recovery. Like it's kind of solidified, but it's still coming out in clumps and like kind of like a jet stream almost. It wasn't that much better. And that's a good example of it too, because that whole scene of like the Amazonians and Steppenwolf battling it out for like an extra 5 minutes and shit just to fucking put in filler for like the 4 hours of the fucking movie. Heavily CGI, doesn't look convincing, added nothing to. It was like, come on, it doesn't really do anything. Everybody's leaping and jumping, fucking Tony Hawk in 1080 fucking spins revolutions all around just because they can and in the middle of the sun and whatever too. Makes no sense. On the other end, Marvel, they're able to do it much better. I don't know who they're hiring as their fucking fight choreographers or whoever they got like handling that shit, but chef's kiss. It's beautifully done all the time, especially here with the chase scene, which is fight number 2, by the way, of 4 in the movie. It's all done beautifully well. Everybody's, the only exaggerated thing might have been like the Winter Soldier jumping off the roof of one building to the other, but then otherwise when Black Panther comes in, fully suited Black Panther, not T'Challa, King Panther at the UN, but Black Panther in the suit, his debut was so awesome because he comes in out of fucking nowhere. You just see his shadow. At first, I always thought it was fucking Falcon. And he finally tracked down fucking Winter Soldier because Cap's looking for him anyway. But it's Black Panther comes in over his soldier, grabs him, just yoinks him, and then they're chasing each other, they're fighting, all that too. It's beautiful. Also, we fast forward from that debut of Black Panther in the suit to Spider-Man. Good old Queen's kid, Spider-Man. He comes in, he's got fucking baddie Auntie May, or Aunt May, whatever you want to call her, MARISA Tomei. MARISA never aged Tomei as Aunt May. I want to fucking kiss and hug whoever made the casting decision to make her Aunt May. Because listen, for the longest time and forever apparently, in the comic books and the old fucking Spider-Man movies and all that shit too, Aunt May was always an old fucking shriveled up raisin practically. And it makes sense because whatever, they were raising a young boy who wasn't even their fucking kid or whatever too. But, well actually, let me take that back. I think in the Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2, it might have been Sally Field, which she was very good looking as a younger fucking woman. Oh my God, she was, I'd say one of the prettiest faces in Hollywood from her time and probably of all time too. But of course she got older and she fit the role of the Aunt May we've known up until then in The Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2. But the pleasant surprise here, of course, is MARISA Tomei. Oh my God, it's fucking 2016 and she's still fine as fuck. Oh my God. And again, chef's kiss to whoever fucking made that decision to cast in her as Aunt May. Wonderful. I love you for it. I appreciate you ever so much. I bow to your fucking elegance and grace and intelligence. Obviously, you're a fucking man who still gets hard. So you knew what to fucking do right there. But we get introduced, of course, sidetracking from finance Aunt May, MARISA Tomei. We get fucking Tom Holland, Spider-Man, which I think he's like 30 something or like super fucking old compared to like how he's supposed to play Peter Parker Spider-Man right here. But he looks, he acts, he talks, everything. He is Spider-Man. Just like fucking Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man, Tom Holland is fucking Spider-Man. There's no fucking debating that at all. You're crazy if you want to fucking debate that. But yeah, we get the unofficial intro per se, the rough intro of Spider-Man. But of course, that's without the suit. Later on, we get the intro in the airport fight scene, which I'm getting to right now, of Spider-Man, finally in the MCU, as he should have been from the get-go. You know, Sony did their thing with the very first embodiment of Spider-Man with fucking, what's his name, Tobey Maguire. It wasn't bad. I liked the first one. First one was okay. Second one was better. I didn't like the third one at all. I don't think anyone liked the third one at all. They tried to do too much with it too, and you know that was a lost cause. But fast forward to the airport fight scene in wherever the fuck Europe it was. I think Germany or something like that. This is the third, mind you, the third of 4 fight scenes in this movie. This is done so much better than. And this alone, this scene itself, this fight scene, is done leaps and bounds way better than anything 3 months earlier motherfucking Batman vs Superman Dawn of Justice gave us. In the 3 hours 2.5 hours they gave us on the big screen for that shit. Oh, excuse me, just had to crack my shoulder. So I don't know how DC dropped the ball with an easy fucking baitable hook as was Batman vs Superman. I still don't know to this day. But I did a whole review on that shit, so you can watch that back to see why I didn't enjoy that movie. And it's more of a guilty pleasure, again, just solely because of the Batman warehouse fight scene, which is, again, after the horrible, what was the name again? Martha, how do you know that name? Why do you know that name? Martha, whatever. So all that bullshit. But the airport fight scene alone is like at least, 12, 15 minutes alone itself. Never bored. I can YouTube that shit right now. I won't be bored by that shit at all. Everything, how it builds up. Oh God, that scene is chef's kiss of all, I'd say almost all the Marvel Universe battle fight scenes, whatever. Obviously until Endgame with the fucking very final battle, everybody versus Thanos and his whole gang and all that shit. But it's beautifully done. The action, the fucking banter, the build up to it too, everybody making clear whose side on whose side, whatever too as well. The dramatic moments, the betrayals, War Machine at the very end, his ass falling out the sky dead like a fucking toaster, falling out of plane is the climactic ending to the battle anyways too. Jesus. It's so beautifully done. It really is a fucking, that could have been the only fight in the whole movie. And we still get that, mind you, within an hour and 20 minutes of the movie itself, which I think finally when Batman and Superman fight each other, it might have been like almost towards 2 hours or something like that. And it was too long and dragged out and kind of like not on the realistic, obviously it's a comic book movie, but on a realistic scale in terms of a comic book movie per se. It just seemed too fucking fake. It just seemed all over the place with the CGI and shit too. Obviously there's a lot of it going on here too with the airport scene in Civil War as well. But it's so beautifully done. Black Panther, every time he fucking throws a kick, throws a punch, whatever, it looks legit beautiful. It looks legit like the guy's doing it without no fucking harnesses, no fucking wiring, nothing like that too. Spider-Man flows, swoops in and out beautifully. Cap's doing his thing. Everybody's doing it. Even Hawkeye, who I don't fucking like or understand or know why he's an Avenger or why he gets the fucking cheat code, the fucking hall pass to be sitting at the fucking cool kids table. I guess because he's like the nerd that had like a car at like 14, 15 that because his dad was a mechanic and said, hey, asshole, get out there, get some pussy or at least buy some cigarettes or something for me and take the car with you. So he's only there with the cool kids, the rest of the Avengers, because he's got a car and none of them have a license yet or they're not allowed to just yet. Or they'll all get one as graduation gifts, because that's how white people work, but whatever. There is one part of the fight scene in the airport which I don't appreciate. I'm not a fan of the team, the Mets here, as you can see, but I am a proud Queens representative. Queens get the money all day, every day. Listen, you know that. I make that clear on my regular podcast. I'll make it clear here as well, too, whenever the chance arises. Fuck Brooklyn, more so the energy of Brooklyn, but not so much the people, because there's a lot of people I know from Brooklyn who I love and appreciate, so it's more the Brooklyn vibes I'm not really a fan of. So when I say fuck Brooklyn, it's more the vibes, the energy, the stigma of Brooklyn being the epitome of cool, whatever. Or whenever someone detects a New York accent on you like they do on me, immediately the first question is Brooklyn. Are you from Brooklyn? No, the fuck I'm not. I'm not from Brooklyn. But I hate the fucking jab. It hurt me. First, because it was historically inaccurate as far as the comic book realm is concerned with Captain America. Captain America in the comic books and everywhere up until the fucking movie universe is from the Lower East Side of Manhattan. That's where he's from. That's where he represented. Because of the fucking movie. I don't know who made this decision. This is the only fucking low point. And call me petty. I don't give a fuck. Or because I'm from Queens like that. I don't know who decided to make Cap from Brooklyn of all places for the fucking MCU I hate it because he takes a little jab at Spider-Man when they're fucking battling and all that shit too. Spider-Man talks too much, but you know, he's still powered enough to take on Captain America. As he's struggling, Spider-Man to hold off a fucking falling plane on his head, and he's struggling to hold it off, but he's able to hold it off. Captain America is like, hey kid, you got heart. Where you from? And of course, struggling. I hate this part because they make it look so weak and meek, and like Queens is like embarrassing or something. And of course, in the middle of it, he's like, Queens, whatever. And then of course, calm, cool, collected, cool as fuck Captain America, he's able to just turn around, give a little wink and say, haha, Brooklyn, and run off like a fucking goddamn cuck. I hate that part just for that shit too. It's denouncing Queens in a very low blow, very dirty format. I don't appreciate that at all, but I put that aside and still appreciate the movie, especially this fight scene for what it is too. It's not until, again, Cap and Winter Soldier are able to fly off in a fucking plane that was secured for them by Black Widow at the expense of fucking holding off Black Panther, as she agreed to fucking find Captain America and Winter Soldier but not bring them in or help Black Panther bring them in. They're able to fucking flee and scurry on... Oh yeah, so they're fucking trying to make their getaway. So of course, Falcon is trailing them behind. Well, no, it's Iron Man goes after them to try to stop them, and then Falcon's right behind him to try to stop his ass. And then apparently, no, how was it again? Sorry, okay. Iron Man and War Machine are going after Captain America and Winter Soldier in the fucking plane, the X-Tornado, whatever the fuck you call it. Falcon comes after them to trail them shits because he's trying to get away too. Iron Man cues Vision, who's too busy getting horny over fucking, this is the very roots, the building of. Vision's too busy fucking getting horny and hard, presuming he can make a dick, since he's like AI, he's not a tangible object, over fucking WandaVision, whatever. Cues him to be like, hey, shoot one of your fucking particle beams at Falcon and get him the fuck out of here. I don't like this scene either, just because Iron Man doesn't get more mad at Vision because it was his fault. He was distracted. Vision shoots his fucking beam. He hits fucking, he's intending to hit Falcon. Falcon's smart enough. He sees it coming. He just fucking barrel rolls out the way on some Starfuck shit. Barrel rolls out of the way. He fucking hits War Machine with it, dead center in his fucking like power source in the middle of his chest, his metal exposed chest, whatever. He's fucking falling out of the sky. He's presumed dead already and shit, and he fucking hits the ground in that metal suit. So he's like paralyzed or disabled, whatever, when they come to him. Falcon comes over to a mourning Iron Man, like all ready to console him, like thinking he's dead and shit. Falcon says, I'm sorry, even though he has no reason to say I'm sorry for doing nothing but protecting and dodging his own ass. Iron Man fucking blasts him with the ion beam, fucking out of scene, whatever, too. And only confronts Vision afterwards in the hospital when they're fucking checking up on, what's his face, War Machine, and being like, well, what happened? And Vision says, I was distracted. Of course, you were too busy being fucking horny boy over, you know, Wanda Maximoff's tits and shit too, showing off whenever she can. And, you know, side note, I will give this honorary baddie title, homage, prestige to Elizabeth Olsen, because I never found the Olsen twins attractive. I was never a fan, and I never fucked with Full House like that. But oddly enough, Elizabeth Olsen, at least, and I like her more how she looks here, more than she did in WandaVision or later on, because they did like the orange-red kind of dye job on her hair. Here, she's like a dirty brunette kind of thing too. It suits her a lot better, plays more to her face, where she's actually kind of cute. I liked her. But I love the fact that half the time her tits are showing too, and she's got like a nice fucking rack on her. As you can see clearly in WandaVision, there's like a couple episodes where they play up to that shit, and it's wonderful. So I can't blame Vision for fucking being horny boy with Wanda Maximoff here too either. But yeah, he was distracted, so he fucked up. He fucked up War Machine. I don't know why he doesn't get blamed more for it too. But then Tony could be like, well, I kind of created him, so he's flawed to an extent, I guess. So whatever. But he gets the fucking brush off. Meanwhile, Falcon gets blasted out of nowhere for no reason. But okay. Now we fast forward to the very end where Winter Soldier and fucking Captain America flying off to fucking find Zemo, who's already fucking taken out all the other Winter Soldiers that were made alongside the Winter Soldier as well. I totally forgot when Iron Man is tracking them in the sky that Black Panther was tracking him as well too, underneath in the stealth jet. He did the stealth thing so fucking perfectly well here. Black Panther, I mean. I always forget he's in there in the mix while they're all fucking confronting Zemo at that Russian facility wherever where they created, mass-produced the Winter Soldiers and shit too. And it's not until the very end where he confronts finally Zemo sitting on the edge of the mountain, ready to kill himself because, well, he kind of completed his work per se as far as getting all the Avengers to fight within themselves too. Shout out to the Baron 1987 for joining the live as well. So Black Panther did his stealth thing a little too well to the point where he's forgettable, or like that he was there too as well. But we now get treated to the fourth fight, the fourth battle, 4 of 4 for the whole movie. Not boring. It's not distracting. It's not deterring from the buildup of the film. It builds up perfectly to this fucking moment right here, where they come to realize Zemo's the bad guy. He has his agenda because of what happened in Sokovia, losing his family, wife and child. So he made it his whole MO to tear them up from the inside out, the Avengers. He shows the footage of the Winter Soldier while he's in this trance of being the Winter Soldier under Russian mind control, killing Iron Man's parents. Iron Man sees that for the first time. Of course, he's ready to pounce and kill fucking Winter Soldier. Captain America stops him, obviously, because that's his best friend, Bucky, from way back when. Not from Brooklyn, but for the sake of the movie, from Brooklyn, but they're really from the Lower East Side. But whatever, I'll put that aside for now, and I'm not going to be super petty like that. He stands in the way. He says, no, I can't let you do that. That's my best friend. And, of course, Iron Man has the fucking reveal of the fucking movie up until this point. And he's looking him dead in the eyes. And he's like, listen, did you know? To Captain America. Captain America pauses, dramatic pause for the effect, and he says, yes, I knew. And then that's where everything goes out the fucking door. You know, I was your friend. Oh, but he's been my friend since like 1913 and shit, since the First World War or whatever. Yeah, but you were friends with my dad. My friend knew you. My dad knew you. He fucking praised you as his hero and shit too. He made the shield for you and all that too. Fuck all that. That's my bestie. That's my best friend. What do you want me to do? We'll be doing TikTok videos on our downtime together, and we're getting the fucking following on our joint account and all that. What do you want me to do? Split up the team and shit? And then they all go at it, the three of them, in the midst of the battle, of course. Winter Soldier's trying to yank out Iron Man's power source. It's all beautifully done. It's all fucking dramatically built up to, oh man, it's so well done. But goddamn. The only problem I'd say I'd have with the whole fight in itself, the last one, the climactic battle to end the fucking movie, is why, if Iron Man has a whole fucking powered suit, he did that for the Hulkbuster suit to fucking detain the Hulk. In the comics, he does that for fucking Thor. He builds a whole Thor Buster suit to fight Thor. And then whoever else comes up, as far as the problem's concerned, he has a suit specifically made for them. He has a powerful enough suit here too as well to take out Captain America without having to do the hand-to-hand combat. But it's a movie, it's dramatic effect. Of course, they gotta fight mano a mano. He could also take out the Winter Soldier easily from a distance, fucking beam his ass, that's it. Slice his fucking arm off like he did in the midst of battle, because out of desperation that he remembered, oh shit, I could just blast his arm off. And he did, clean off, by the way. I don't know why he didn't just do that from a distance. Why not just swoop in, fly off in the midst of battle, act like he's a pussy, throwing the white flag, presumably, and then just come back from behind or something. Or if I'm Iron Man and I got the fucking beams in my hand, I got the beams in my chest and shit too, whatever, I'm fucking blasting their feet. Because I don't care how fucking overpowered you are with the super soldier serum as Captain America is. I don't care how fucking overpowered you might be with that one super fucking metallic arm like the Winter Soldier has. They all got exposed feet. Just like fucking Achilles' heel. Achilles, what did he have? The one weakness on him, the fucking heel, back of the foot, arrow, boom, took him out. Go for the feet. I'm not talking about sweeping the legs. I'm not talking that Karate Kid bullshit. No, If you got beams, if you got a gun, if you got fucking your Hawkeye, you got arrows to your advantage, go for the fucking feet. Shoot an arrow, shoot a bullet, shoot an ion beam. Take the feet out, blow holes right through the feet. Are they going to immediately stand up? No, because guess what? Super soldier or not, your fucking foot gets taken out from under you, be it from an ion beam, diabetes, whatever. You lose that foot, you're kind of fucking at a disadvantage. So I don't know why he didn't fucking think of that right away too. If I was Iron Man, pew, 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 right there. Beams through the feet. Everybody's fucking got stumps left for legs. They're fucking wobbling all over the place. They're fucking crying and holding what used to be their feet and shit too. And then easily defeat them, detain them, fucking tie them up, handcuff them, whatever. That's it. Done with the battle. But no. Iron Man chooses to go mano a mano. Fist fight with both of them. And he's holding his own. He's got his beams. He's got his powered suit and all that shit too. He's able to blast off Winter Soldier's arm. He's able to use his artificial intelligence to detect Captain America's fight patterns enough to fucking know how to defend himself from it, because Captain America is a very skilled combatant, obviously too. He's got no choice because he's a superpowered human at the end of the day. So he can get shot, he can get stabbed, he might be able to survive it too, but he is superpowered. That's his only real advantage too. So he doesn't have a powered suit like Tony does. Tony can blast through him if he really wants to. Tony can blast at him from a distance safely where there's no real battle. But he's able to adapt to his fight patterns. He's able to fucking counter everything he's got thrown at him, but only because he's got the disadvantage of 2 versus 1 handicap match in this bullshit. As he's about to fucking blast and put away Captain America easily, as he should have from the start, Bucky's there with one fucking good arm left, holding on to his feet, distracting him like a fucking manager would back in the day in the fucking 80s and 90s wrestling, from underneath the ring, hook the foot, distract him, hey, what the fuck you doing? And shit. Then the fucking guy comes back, takes advantage, Captain America does, grabs him, slams him, and takes his shield and just fucking crushes his power source right in his chest. And that's it. They fucking break away. Like, you don't deserve that shield. You don't deserve that shield. My father gave me that shield. And of course, Cap tosses it aside. He don't need it. He's the fucking black sheep of the Avengers now, unofficially too. And that's where the movie ends. So, all in all, listen. Great movie. Am I gonna fucking lie up until now the way I heralded, the way I fucking built it up, the way I presented it to you? I wouldn't do that just to shine up a turd and make it look all nice for you and be like, hey, take this shit. Because at the end of the day, that's what it was. No, I wouldn't even bother doing that. I'd point out the bad if it was bad. But there's little to no bad. Only if you were paying attention from earlier, I will point out the bad that I did not enjoy so much was motherfucking Hawkeye. I don't get why he's an Avenger. I don't get why by default he's an Avenger or why he was an OG Avenger. But he's there for some reason. I don't know. They got to check off the fucking box with him somehow of depowered fucking middle-aged, presumably white man with no powers except to fucking shoot arrows really fucking quick. Which again, arthritis, carpal tunnel syndrome, diabetes, he gets that shit in the middle of fucking battle. He's going to have to eat like something sweet because, his blood levels dropping or peaking or whatever too. Shout out to the diabetics, but you know what I mean. Like, it's an inconvenience to have it be in the middle of something so strenuous as like saving the world, and all of a sudden you got to take a fucking like a sweet tooth break just to fucking stay alive yourself too. But yeah, that's that and that's this. Captain America Civil War 5-year anniversary recap / review, as done by me, Who This, every Friday live, Friday 10 p.m. here on Instagram at Who This Is One. A couple of days later, next week, following up, will always be available on YouTube, youtube.com/ Who This Is One, and the audio version on every podcasting platform of your choice and preference. That's where you'll get the audio version made for your fucking ears. This fucking episode and so many others I've done up until now. This is surprisingly episode 25 of Who This Been Watching. So of course, without further ado, now we gotta give the rating to fucking Captain America Civil War from 2015, starring Chris Evans, Robert Downey Jr., fine as hell, piece of ass, I don't care what anybody says, even my girlfriend, Scarlett Johansson. Oh, you got motherfucking, what's Ant-Man's name? Paul Rudd. You got fucking Tom Holland and this and that, the other. Listen, IMDb, the rest of the shit, if you really want to know like that, You should know by now because everybody's watching the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So what the fuck you need me to tell you about that? I'm not Wikipedia, I'm not Google like that. You got all that to your fucking advantage if you need to like that. So what do I give Civil War? Listen, way better from the 3 months removed Batman vs. Superman Dawn of Justice. Easy. I'd say it's 1 and 2 trading off with Avengers Infinity War for the best Marvel movie. Not best superhero movie, not comic book movie, but best Marvel movie out of all of them so far. Number 1, Infinity War. Number 2, Civil War right here. And they trade off every so often. There's stuff that holds Civil War back from being permanently number 1, in my opinion. Now, on the grander scale of comic book movies, no, it's not there. I'd still say the number 1, the best comic book movie up until now would still be The Dark Knight. As much as I'm not a fan of Christian Bale's fighting style as Batman, overall that movie is pretty much perfect when it comes to superhero shit and Batman lore and all that too. But Civil War, I mean, listen, 4, count them, fight scenes, battles, epic battles throughout the movie. Not boring at all. Doesn't stall. Doesn't feel forced. Everything's funny, it's dramatic, it has a purpose, it leads up to everything else building towards the end of the movie too. Dramatic reveals, story arc is beautifully told. Captain America's cool, he's a rebel, he's doing his own thing. The inner workings of how they try to split up the Avengers is genius, and courtesy of one enemy, which DC loves doing fucking 2, 3 in one movie, or as many as possible they can get on film too. No, just one good, effective villain, as was Zemo, more than enough. And this is the perfect example of that too. Same thing with Thanos. Thanos has a whole squad, rebellion, army, whatever too, but it's really all up here. Thanos, the guy in charge of it, the brains of the operations, the cock leading the balls before everything busts out and shoots. And it covers a whole scene of Bukkake. But yeah, final rating for Captain America Civil War. We got a new rating system because people have been demanding I incorporate and use the ears as much as possible to my advantage because I am my own props department, my own props manager too, so why not fucking use them as best I can. So in this case, we got a whole system as far as you go half an ear, full ear, 1.5 ear, and then there's 2 ears, if that's a classic. In the case of Captain America Civil War, I gotta go with 1.5 ear. Almost classic, almost perfect, almost the best thing Marvel has possible to offer. But I'm still gonna give that by default to Avengers Infinity War. That is clearly the better movie. Not by a lot, but it is the better movie. I don't get why Hawkeye even exists or why he's so fucking spotlighted like he is here in Civil War or period in the Marvel MCU. There's that, and also it's really just Hawkeye. I don't know. That's the only thing I can't really like justify period per se. But yeah, I'm going to leave it at that. 1 full ear and 1.5 ear for motherfucking Captain America Civil War. I guess the half ear can also be representative of Bucky, the Winter Soldier, losing his arm. Clean blasted off, courtesy of Iron Man. But yeah, that's the final score for Civil War, and that is it for tonight's edition of Who This Been Watching. Thank you again so much to everybody who chimed in the comments, who joined in on the live, who caught it here live. Of course, the raw, uncut, unedited, uncensored version of Who This Been Watching, live every Friday at 10 p.m. on Instagram at WhoThisIs1. That's me right here, of course. Obviously, that's what I'm doing. You can catch this on YouTube later on next week at WhoThisIs1. That's the channel. Please feel free to subscribe, like, comment, follow, all that good shit because I'm this close. I'm a fucking pussy hair away from 600 subs on YouTube, surprisingly. So help me get to 600. Help me get to 700. Help me get to fucking 100,000 and shit too. Come on. I'm doing this thing weekly. Every fucking week. Committed to it. Clearly. You got my main podcast, Oh Fuck It, which drops every week as well too. Brand new episode. Listen, I even do you the favor, the solid of putting every episode up on IG as well. So you don't have to click elsewhere, link in the bio, all that other stuff too. It's right there every week on Instagram too for you to enjoy in full. and you can watch it and binge like you can a lot of other episodes available now on my Instagram at whothisis1, as well as tomorrow, Saturday, I'll be doing the streaming thing as far as the gaming. Bad gaming, shit talking, it balances out too as far as you being entertained at the expense of me either gaming badly or talking shit lovely like I do. Who This Been Gaming on Twitch, twitch.tv/whothisis1 as well. That'll be tomorrow, Saturday at 2 p.m. Standard Time, Eastern, whatever the fuck, too. I'm on the East Coast, so 2 o'clock East Coast. I don't know where the fuck you gotta tune in from, what time on whatever part of the world you're from, but that's where I'll be tomorrow. That's it for tonight. We're done. I'm tapping out for the evening. That's it. Civil War did its thing. It's a fucking classic. Oh my God. But just short of a masterpiece. Just short. That's why I got 1.5 years, like I made emphasis of before. But yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. I'll be back next week with a very special edition. It's number 26. They're all special too. But a very special edition of Who This Been Watching. Hopefully I'll be able to confirm a guest during the week in time for next week. But if I am able to, it'll be very special, and it'll be a past guest that has done his thing here too. I'm hoping I'm able to lock it in. So tune in next week Friday, or tune in next week to be determined day and time. But we'll see. Who This Been Watching? Thanks for watching.